Hey guys, how's it going? We are live and let's see. Just gonna give it a few moments. See who comes into the chat room and can hear the music in the background. That is the channel link is in the description box below. The channel is Zen Life Relax. And this is a video published February 2nd, 2018. And it's 432 hertz, the deepest healing, let go of all negative energy, and healing meditation. And I've given full credit with a link below, so hopefully we won't have any copyright issues or anything. Welcome, Dee, welcome. You would not believe, it's been 2 hours I've been trying to go live, but we have another snow day here, and so the little one is at home and he's like, where's my food? Where's this? Where's that? I'm like, okay, do I go live or do I cook my child some food? So I didn't want to be a neglectful and derelict mother. Oh, all right. So I got the chat set up. And, you know, right before I went live, I decided I was going to take my B vitamins, and I took a B3. And I don't know if any of you have had experiences with taking B3. It gives me a flush, and I usually kind of like the heat. As you can see, I'm heating up this piece of charcoal. Hopefully the sparks won't cause a fire. I usually don't mind the heat. Yes, nice. But I wasn't thinking, because now every little hair follicle all over my body is itching and itching and itching and itching and burning like crazy. Welcome, Regina. Welcome. I like the picture that you sent me. I think I saw it I think earlier this morning when I woke up. I wanted to light a little frankincense and myrrh. Years ago, I bought this burner and it had a metal mesh over the top of it. And quite honestly, I couldn't figure out what the metal mesh was for. Now I'm thinking it's what I should have put the charcoal on top of. But unfortunately, I did get rid of that metal mesh, so I might need to buy a new burner. Because now I realize the charcoal goes on top of the metal mesh so that air can flow underneath it. And that would be better. I remember the first time I did a niacin flush, and I was on my way to go visit friends, and I had about a 20-minute drive. I didn't know what to expect with the flush. I figured, okay, well, I'll get a little warm. Well, it's winter time, and I'm always cold because I'm so skinny. I don't have a whole lot of body fat. And I start driving, and I felt this nice warmth on the very crown of my head. And then that warmth started spreading down to my ears, and I literally felt like I was on fire. I had to call my herbalist teacher, like, Cherise, help me. And by the way, if you want to know who Cherise is and how cool she is, do a search on my YouTube channel, and you'll find the video that I when I had Cherise on as a guest. And I don't know if you can hear me scratching. But I'm scratching like crazy. So anyway, she talked me through it. She's like, you'll be okay. I'm like, I'm not going to die, Cherise. And she's like, no, you're not going to die. Just drink plenty of water. Okay, let's see. right. Usually it tells me how many people I have on and the time, but I'm not seeing that. So just give me one moment. Hopefully I won't mess this up. Okay. I just have the editor and the time that I've been live is not showing. And I don't know what happened. The chat box, is that it? No, that's not it. That is not it. I have no idea what happened. Anyway. Well, actually, D, as crazy as it may sound, oh, there it is. Actually, I do like the flush and I do need it for my circulation, so that's why I have it. It is crazy though. And one of my friends who's a master herbalist has stated that you get certain good qualities and benefits come from the flush. All right, let's see. I have that back up. Okay. So I have a couple of things I wanted to share with everyone today, as well as getting back to doing the hexagram for, that we're coming up next, which is, I think, 37. We're in hexagram number 37. Yes, hexagram number 37. So let's go ahead and take a nice deep centering breath and welcome us into this sacred space. So welcome everyone. This is Tamu and Ngina, Priestess Heart. Very happy to share this afternoon with you. It's another snow day and the little one is home from school. And he was in his bedroom making a video of himself. Making a video of himself making a Play-Doh man. And I just lit the frankincense. So there we go. Nice little ambiance. So I don't know, any of you that are on my Facebook page, you know that a couple of days ago, my 6-foot tall bookshelf came crashing down. The one that's right behind me when I'm, when the camera is on me, you can always see like a little piece of the bookshelf behind me. I had like way too many books. And when it came crashing down, first I was very thankful that my little one wasn't at home, because had that fallen on him, it would not have been pretty. I don't even want to think about what would have happened, but and I'm glad that it didn't fall on me. And I remember saying to my son, I said, the bookshelf fell down. And I said, I'm glad it didn't fall on my computer. It would have broke my computer and that would have been it, well, my monitor. And he says, yep, Mom, and your YouTube career would be over. I started laughing. He says the darndest things. Welcome, Irie. Welcome, Katrina. Welcome, CB, and welcome, Regina. Welcome. So yeah, so when it first happened, I kind of crumbled to the floor and just like cried, but there was no one here to give me sympathy. So that lasted for about all of 2 or 3 minutes. Then I went and laid down in my bed and cried a little bit. So then I called my ex-husband on the phone and I'm like, my bookshelf just tumbled over. And he's like, well, you need to get rid of those books. No one uses books anymore anyway. You need to just get all your books online. And, I immediately hung up the phone there because I realized he's not a book lover and he doesn't understand, the need for having books. So before we get started with our reading from the Tao Te Ching, and I wanted to share, I don't know if anyone's seen this journal. This is put out by We Moon. They put up, what is it called? Yeah, We Moon, Gaia Rhythms for Women. I've seen this journal every year for the last probably 15 to 20 years. Someone's making noise outside. And oh, wow. As soon as I start the video, someone's shoveling, which I'm not complaining because the guys keep the snow shoveled. You can hear that, sorry. So anyway, I went over to a friend's house to visit, and she had this journal, and I'll show you what it looks like on the inside. And please ignore the grating of the shovel on the sidewalk. So every year, We Moon puts out these journals. And let me just see, hold on a second, so you can see. Okay, so it is a planner. However, the space is very limited for a planner. I think of it more as just being able to keep up with the magic of the year. And oh my goodness. So sorry. So anyway, so I was at my friend's house and she showed me the journal, and each year there's a theme. And this year the theme is sun, looking at the sun as the goddess, and how in ancient times, in many cultures, not all cultures always viewed the moon as feminine. The sun, which is life-giving, which is, you know, the fire, as being the goddess, as being the life-giving mother, which makes sense because, you know, the sun gives life, and as mothers, we give life as well. So I looked in her journal, and it's amazing, and I'm going to fold that over because I don't want to start a fire. But it is really cool because, let's see. So what it's doing is it's giving all information of the various cycles of the moon, the rhythms of Gaia, as well as different ceremonies and different versions of the sun goddess throughout history. Again, this year's planner is, the subject is the sun. So you have the sun cycles and all the aspects, sun and Saturn, sun, etc., etc. Returning of the sun goddess, and then various ceremonies like this one, walking paths of fire. Let's see, all of the auspicious dates and the different sun goddesses that go with those dates. So here's a little bit from the introduction. We Moon 2019 is steeped in sun glow. Our theme, fanning the flame, honors Mother Sun as the source of life and sparks our passion for revolutionary change in the world. She warms us and bestirs the molecules in every morsel of being. Each wave, grain, scent, bee is sunlight. She also burns us, turns our forests and grasslands crisp, sucks up our waters, and so some of the mighty fanning we must do on a massive scale is to gather her power, to use her benign engine in place of the petrochemistry with which humans have poisoned earth. Sun inspires us toward clarity and truth speaking, and passions our longing for personal integrity, for just and life affirming societies. Our fire ceremonies burn away fears, failures, occluded visions. We blaze with imagination. I guess that's occluded visions. We blaze with imagination, life, voice, drum, intention toward fresh expressions and the brand new, never before, the holiness of possibility. Art and writing in We Moon 2019 speak reverence for sun and flame with urgency about protecting earth, liberating creativity, restoring peace. Sun-inspired brightness, low, even happiness reverberates through poems about mothering and marching, art, gardens, and ritual, etc., etc. So there's lots of beautiful inspiration, goddess of the forest. So you have poetry written by various women and different aspects of the goddess and spring equinox. So I just thought I'd show this to everyone in case you were interested. You can go to their website to purchase this journal. And let's see if I can find the website. It's not listed on here, but if you just put in We Moon 2019, the website will come up. Okay. At nice and flush is no joke. Okay, so we're going to start our reading with the Tao Te Ching, and so let's so we're going to look at chapter 23 from the Tao Te Ching, and this is the translation by Ursula Le Guin. Nothing and not. Nature doesn't make long speeches. A whirlwind doesn't last all morning. A cloudburst doesn't last all day. Who makes the wind and rain? Heaven and earth do. If heaven and earth don't go on and on, certainly people don't need to. The people who work with Tao are Tao people. They belong to the way. People who work with power belong to power. People who work with loss belong to loss. Belong to what is lost. Welcome, Sir Tony. Give yourself to the way and you'll be at home on the way. Give yourself to power and you'll be at home in power. Give yourself to loss, and when you're lost, you'll be at home. To give no trust is to get no trust. It's interesting. You know, it's like we're being called to be mindful of what we decide to give ourselves to. And another way of looking at that is we must be mindful of where we're casting our attention. Is our attention on gossip and backbiting? Is our attention on positivity and things that are righteous? Whatever you give your attention to, your intention, your energy will go there, and your energy will grow. So that was the translation by Ursula Le Guin, and we always balance it by at least one more translation. And hold on one moment, I just need to go close the door, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. The little one is very happy to this time be home for a snow day. Welcome, Anna. Last week, when he had one too many snow day, he decided to put a little message on the refrigerator with the letter magnets, and he wrote, "Worst day ever." That was the third snow day in a row. He wasn't too happy with that. Okay, so we're going to look at the Tao Te Ching with Lao Tzu, and this translation is by John C.H. Wu. Only simple and quiet words will ripen of themselves. For a whirlwind does not last the whole morning, nor does a sudden shower last a whole day. Who is their author? Heaven and earth. Even heaven and earth cannot make such violent things last long. How much truer is it of the rash endeavors of men. Hence, he who cultivates the Tao is one with the Tao. He who practices virtue is one with virtue. And he who courts after loss is one with loss. To be one with the Tao is to be a welcome accession to the Tao. To be one with virtue is to be a welcome accession to virtue. To be one with loss is to be a welcome accession to loss. Deficiency of faith on your part entails faithlessness on the part of others. It's very interesting, that last line. That last line that I just read, deficiency of faith on your part entails faithlessness on the part of others. It reminds me, you know how sometimes if we've been in a relationship with someone and they've done something to us and our response is, they've broken my trust. I no longer trust anyone anymore. And what I've come to understand is it's never about who you trust and trusting the other person. To me, it's really about trusting yourself. Because if you have full faith in yourself and trust yourself, and trust that you're making a good decision, trust that you're making, that you have good discernment on part of the other person, to me, that is what's, more reliable, trusting yourself. Because if you can trust yourself and you know that you're paying attention to what's going on about you, you're not worried about whether or not you can trust the other person. Because the moment things are not in their proper place and you're trusting yourself to pay attention and to set an intention that you're fully present, you'll be okay no matter what. You'll see it coming a mile away. But if you're too busy casting your trust and your faithfulness externally, meaning the person outside of you has to be the one to hold everything up, you're always going to be in doubt. That's what I've come to understand. And yes, we have a Virgo moon getting things in order. All right. Okay, so let me see. Where did I put my stand? So the hexagram that we're looking at today in the I Ching is hexagram number 37. Isn't that an awesome illustration? I have a little cut on my finger and then some ash got in there, so excuse that. This is I think this is a beautiful illustration. You can see all of the various faces of humanity in perspective. Isn't that beautiful? That is so beautiful. So this is simply an illustrated version of the Tao Te Ching, and this particular deck is called the Tao Oracle, which it is, the Tao Oracle. And this is by Ma Padma Devi. And I just ask you guys to please excuse me if I seem a little bit out of sorts. It's been a while since I've done a video, and the little one in the background is making all those noises. Let's see. China, I don't think I can get the ones here. There we go. That's perfect. That's perfect. Let's see. And those are 12. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there you go. 12. So this one is called The Family. That's what Ma Padma Devi translates it as. And Benabel Wynn translates it as family, and then semicolon interdependence, which is basically what we all are. We are interdependent upon each other. There really is no one culture that I can think of, especially in more modern of times, say the last, say, 1,000 years, that wasn't influenced by another culture. So you'll think, if we go back, as far as I can think to go back, maybe you have ancient Sumeria, ancient Kemet, and the Indus Valley, which at one point, India and Africa, they were sort of part of one, the ancient kingdom of Kush. And I think it was Josephus, who was that ancient historian? I think it was him who talked about ancient Kush. You have Eastern Kush, which was India, Western Kush, which was Africa, and the major way to tell the two different people apart, because they were all dark-skinned, brown-skinned, black-skinned people, was the texture of the hair. And if you look in Africa, especially sub-Saharan, and then you go up across over towards more towards east, and then into Asia, the hair goes from very, very kinky to a little bit looser in Ethiopia, to a little curlier and looser, and then straighter as you get into India. But the skin complexions are all pretty much sort of the same. So anyway, it's very interesting how throughout history, even if you think of ancient China, I always think of China as having been the one to sort of create the culture of Asia. I know Japan gets its written language from China. They get a lot of customs come from there. China has its Buddhism from India, started in India. We are also interdependent. I know it's like modern Western man likes to try to isolate everything and categorize them and say, oh, this culture has nothing to do with that culture. And I don't, that is so not true. It's so, and Goddess Naisha, I did receive your PayPal. Thank you very much. Send me your email address, and anyone who sends me a PayPal because they want a reading, please, please, please send your email address in the note area, because what happens is when PayPal sends me the PayPal funds or what have you, it just says you have funds and it tells the name of the person, but it doesn't give me an email address. And then I have to log into PayPal and look for that transaction to find the email. And if you send me your email address right away, then I can usually respond a lot quicker. So, but I appreciate everyone so much. So anyway, back to number 37, hexagram number 37, Ma Padma Devi. Keywords are hereditary, blood bonds, kindred spirits, ancestry, home life, community, intimate relationships, our human family. So there you go. There you go. Can we get both of these? Oh yeah, we can get both in the same frame. How cool is that? And you see the ancient bone script oracle for interdependence, Jia Ren. So we're gonna read that. Okay, so we're looking at this one. So we're looking at this one, and it is fire, wind over fire. the two bagua, fire and wind. So the first bagua, fire, down at the bottom, of course, is made up of two masculine lines with the feminine line right in the middle. I love that particular bagua. Radiance, innovation, cultivation, and eminence, giving light, illumination, perspicacity, clarity, rapid movement. The sun, speaking of the sun, is showing. Thank you, Goddess Naisha. Let me go ahead. Let me get a quick screenshot of that. I'm not going to show it publicly. And I will be in touch. So I'm going to close that out. Thanks so much. Okay, I got it. I got your email address. All right, so where was I? Okay. Rapid movement, the sun, clinging, dependent. Don't we all cling to our mother or desire to cling to our mother? Cling, speaking of fire and sun. Oh no, someone just sent me a message. All right, I have to get that later. Okay, the direction is south. The season is cardinal summer, autumn equinox. The life aspect is ambition, honor, fame, reputation. Medically related to eyes, small intestines, cardiovascular system, autoimmune, metabolic. The chakra is the heart chakra. The animal is the phoenix or the pheasant. Thank you, CB. Thank you. And the archetype is the general or the minister. And the immortal is Lu Dong Bin, patron of scholars, the literati, healers, high magic, and invoked for banishing and exorcisms. You can't have a banishing or an exorcism without fire. I've done neither. So anyway, the next one is wind, Jun. Gentle thoughts, entering gently, proceeding conscientiously, flexibility, adaptability, influence, sensitivity, responsiveness, pervasiveness, assimilation. The direction is southeast. It's the winter solstice, cardinal spring. Please come soon. Life aspect, wealth, finances, assets, medically related to thighs, legs, respiratory system, parasympathetic nervous system, large intestine, depression, mental wellness. The chakra is the sacral chakra. The animal is the fowl. The archetype is the martial artist. The immortal is He Xian Gu, patron of women diviners, female miracle workers, sorceresses, and witches. Okay, and that is wind. And before I get to Benabel Winds, that's whose work we were just reading. We're going to, of course, look at her song. I just blended his name. Can I get that in there? Kersan Hong. Just want to make sure I pay homage to him. Kersan Hong. And his translation, his direct translation of the I Ching. He calls it the family. Auspicious for a girl. That's his sort of paraphrase of this hexagram. Guarding the home, regret disappears. All is dandy in the pantry. Auspicious. I don't know why, that just makes me smile. All is dandy in the pantry. The family agitating. Danger is weathered. Women and children laughing. A sad ends. A sad end comes. A wealthy family, great fortune. The king comes to the house. Fear not, all goes well. To be firm in punishment brings good in the end. And as much as I appreciate Professor Hong, I am even more grateful of all of the many translations, which are in fact interpretations of the I Ching. It's about every translation we have nowadays is a interpretation, because the ancient Mandarin, the ancient Chinese, even modern day Chinese speakers, you really have to, figure out the context and understand what the original meaning is. Welcome, Sir Oswald. It's been a while. Okay, family, interdependence. This is the clan. There you go, right here. Can you find yourself in this picture? This is the clan. The family, interdependence. The leading clan that gives light to others will shine with the radiance of the sun. Leading from behind, leading by setting the example. The nation must come together like a family. When there is interdependence, then there will be great success. The parent establishes firm rules for the child to follow so that the child can become a contributing member of society. Leave no housekeeping unattended. I guess that means as soon as we finish this live stream, I need to go and do my dishes. Attention to detail will bring success. Govern the clan with love, not with fear. The king must be a loving father. So that was Benabel Wins. And you know what? I just realized, and I apologize for the little voice you hear in the background. It's my little one doing his own creative endeavors in his bedroom. He's getting a little carried away. Let's see. If anyone would like for me to bring out the wisdom keeper for this one today, if I get at least one vote for the wisdom keeper, I will bring that one out. If not, I will leave him aside. Oswald said, what's the best chakra to activate for doing dishes? I would say it's probably the root chakra, maybe the solar plexus. Yeah, maybe the first three chakras, the root, the sacral, and the solar plexus. That part of us that would be ashamed if someone walked in the door. Well, if any of you guys walked in my door right now, I'd be ashamed. My living room, well, it's clean and it's vacuumed according to my standards. I go over to some friend's house. They say, oh, excuse my house, I haven't cleaned up today. And I'm like, it is neat and clean in here. But, it's all relative. It's all relative. I have no idea who he's talking to. Anyway, so Chia Jin, the family, the clan, and what we're looking at now is Brian Brown Walker's The I Ching, or Book of Changes. A healthy family, a healthy country. Oswald, you're being silly. A healthy family, a healthy country, a healthy world, all grow outward from a single superior person. Okay. CB says, if I activate my root, I won't get the dishes done. All right. You have a point, CB. Okay. I would say the solar plexus, because it's your seat of your identity. And if your identity is attached to making sure that you get good praises from other people, Then you don't want to let that solar plexus chakra down. You don't want your you don't want to get a bad reputation. I was thinking all three together, you know, your foundation, a little bit of fire in there, but then again, that could take you in other directions besides washing your dishes. Okay, the hexagram Chia Jin 37 concerns the proper foundation of human communities. And side note, that includes having clean dishes in your sink. The I Ching teaches that all clans must have a superior person at their center if they are to prosper and succeed. Personally, I think that superior person in the center is the mother. Remember the saying, the hand that rocks the cradle is the hand that rules the world, you know? And if you think about it, if you think, and I don't know if this has happened to you, but and if it has, you'll understand. It's like in society in general at large, you know, families break up, they split apart, X, Y, and Z. Fathers might leave or mothers might leave, but you ever know the person thank you, Goddess Nasha. The person who tends to have the most enduring pain and a lot to get over is if their mother abandoned them. Now, that's not to say that fathers are not important, but if you think about it, the mother is who you come from. And if your mother walks away from you, that's like, you know, kind of like questioning the whole basis of your identity. So I really think the superior person that really holds everything together in society and in families is the mother. And if the mother is not honored properly the way she should be as the life giver, as the one who, you know, replicates and generates life, the society begins to downfall. Sir Tony says, yeah, mom is a big deal. And I'm not saying that dads are not big deals, but again, you know, everything, we all come from a mother. We are all born from a mother. So let me get back to that. And again, if you hear the little one in the background, you know, I don't want to squash his creativity. He's been pretty good today, but he is, you know, doing his thing. He likes to make his videos. I don't know what he's doing. Okay. The I Ching teaches that all clans must have a superior person at their center if they are to prosper and succeed. Therefore, in order to improve our family, company, nation, or world community, we must begin by improving ourselves. If you will observe healthy families, you will always see present in them three qualities: love, faithfulness, and correctness. When we truly love others, we are naturally kind, gentle, and patient with them. When we are faithful to others, we place proper principles and conduct above temporary influences like anger, desire, or greed. And when we practice correctness, we spiritually nourish ourselves and all those around us. When all three qualities are cultivated, a healthy clan springs naturally into being. Look at all these beautiful people. Aren't they gorgeous? That is all of us, all of you, all of us. So beautiful. The differences between paying lip service to these ideals and practicing them is profound. If you advocate high ideals and actions to others, but do not embody them yourself, your influence will disintegrate for lack of proper foundation. Therefore, in order to inspire superior qualities in others, you must first instill them in yourself. Concentrate not upon influencing others or external events, but upon strengthening your inner devotion to proper principles. When modesty, acceptance, equanimity, and gentleness become deeply ingrained in your character, they will flow steadily outward from you. Soon, you will find yourself enmeshed in a web of healthy relationships, and in this, there is great fortune. That's sort of like saying Critical Break says, wow, that card says leave no housekeeping unattended. I got purple rain. Get your house in order. Let's see. What I was going to share was that reminds me of a conversation I had with someone recently. And again, it even goes back to what I just said about if you trust yourself, you don't have to worry about whether or not someone is going to hurt you, or whether or not you can trust other people or have trust issues. Because if you trust yourself and you're working on yourself and you're only allowing and accepting into your space that which is correct and beneficial, you're not going to allow yourself to associate with someone who is exhibiting symptoms that they are someone who is, not trustworthy. And the red flags they're always there. They're there. And it's just a matter of whether or not we are being honest with ourselves and doing our own work. And that's one of the things I've come to understand, when we're in a relationship, it's not always about what the other person did to us. It can be, especially when we are of age and we're able to think and reason for ourselves, it's about what did we allow to happen. So I'm looking for card number 37. And I hope I have it here. There it is. Of course, it's like the one that was closest to me, but since I started from the bottom of the deck, Critical Break says I get more telepathy when I do mindless tasks such as housework or gaming. And the reason why that happens is because you're being in the present moment of now, and you're not allowing yourself to, you're not thinking about this and that. Your focus is like a meditation. Housework is like a meditation. And when I do, there are moments when I do get into the zone, and then I'm really good at it. But I have to admit, that is one of my shortcomings that I have to work on, because I could find a million excuses for why not to do X, Y, and Z. All right. So we need each other. We bleed into each other, holding space for each other. We learn from each other. I used to think that, tea time originated in England. And then I realized, wait a minute, that tea, it comes from India, it comes from China, and it was imported over there. We are so interconnected as a species. There really is truly only one race, the human race. Yes, we come in all different flavors and sizes and shapes and shades of browns and pinks. But there really is only one human race, humanity. And we can choose to honor each other, respect each other, Even if we may not necessarily always understand each other, but that's okay. But that is okay. Well, Oswald, okay, well, I guess, you know, I don't really have a comment on that right now. So, okay, so let's see. Yes, come here, I can't hear you. So this is because we had at least one person. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Okay, sorry about that. My little one had a question for me. So this is our call. This is our wisdom keepers for today, number 37, that goes along with hey Teresa, that goes along with our hexagram, number 37, interdependence. Oh my gosh, D, look at this image. Look at this image. You see the connection? You just said purple rain earlier. Remember you said purple rain? Do you see what's on the third eye of this image? Purple rain. That's your telepathy going on. Yeah. I love her hair. I love her hair. I love that softness, fuzziness. It almost reminds me of someone who went through, like, I don't know, like chemotherapy or a cancer treatment, and they lost their hair and their hair is growing back. That's what this hair kind of reminds me of. And let's study and see what are some of the symbolism. What else do we see in here? I almost see like the flower of life, some sacred geometry right in there. Almost reminds me of a phoenix rising, or maybe it's just a dove, doves of peace. Please excuse my lack of a manicure. Infinity symbol. I'm not sure what those symbols are there. I get the hearts and the peace sign. So this is number 37, equality, equality, interdependence. An equal does not always mean the same. Okay, now let's just check what's on her lips. I just want to look at all the symbols. Okay, all right, so we got the symbols down. So I'm going to go ahead and read her story. I am as well, Regina. Negative, yes. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and read her story, and I still haven't gotten the newer, the larger book, but thankfully I have some good lighting over here. All right, hold on one second. And after I do this, I was thinking of pulling a 22 major arcana card for anyone that would like to get a major arcana for today. And let me just say hi to everyone. Irie17, I'm not sure if that person looks like a she. I'm not sure if she's still here. Critical Break, welcome Katrina. Anna, it's been a minute since I've seen you. Welcome, Sir Tony. Pavel, Goddess Naisha, and Oswald, and Regina, and Teresa, I think I got everybody. Just want to give a shout out to everyone. Pavel, not sure if I said your name before. Okay. Okay. All right. So let me go ahead and get this one done, and then I'll pull a card. I'm just going to pull a 22 major arcana. I want to try to make sure I do pull a card for people as often as possible. It helps to keep flexing that muscle. Okay. From the point of view of the human heart, all humanity is one family. The gift, equality. The shadow, weakness. The city, tenderness. My wisdom story. Though I was born into a girl's body, I always felt like a boy deep down inside. My family was conventional. My father worked, my mother took care of the children and was completely dependent on him financially. He often treated her disrespectfully and with cruelty, as if she were weak, overly sentimental, and only nice to look at. As I got older, I saw men like him ruling the world. So I rejected my father, the patriarchy, as well as the boy in me. In absolute solidarity with my mother, I would be a girl. No matter how painful or wrong it felt within, without realizing it, I spent the following years using every masculine, quote unquote, masculine muscle I had to idealize and fight for all things, quote unquote, feminine. I envisioned and worked for a world where women were the leaders. I became an activist and speaker empowering women worldwide with my ideals. I also became financially independent and bartered with the big boys for rights and privileges on behalf of women everywhere. Privately, though, I was an emotional wreck. I alienated my romantic partners constantly with unfair and cruel accusations of an insatiable need for emotional processing. The truth was that deep down I was fighting for one thing: acceptance. Welcome, Charles. So sorry I missed your name. Welcome. But I couldn't even give that to myself. I was too weak to share, much less own how I felt inside or how I wanted to live my life. I had zero trust that my romantic partners would still love me as a man. No trust that the world would even accept a freak like me. I was convinced that if my feminist community discovered how I really felt inside, they'd no longer see me as a leader, but as an outsider, maybe even an enemy. When the pain of hiding from myself was too great, I decided to drive to a transgender support group in a town where I'd never be recognized. I sat in the back of the room and just listened. My own story was told over and over again by different people. Because of their courage, I found myself, my pain, longing, loneliness, and overwhelming fear. At the end of the meeting, someone came up to me. To my shock, it was someone I knew. I expected an attack, but instead, I was given the most tender embrace. In that moment, I knew I'd find my way back to me and that I wouldn't have to do it alone. So there you go. There you go. I think that a lot of the issues Sorry, Charles. I think that a lot of the issues that we deal with today, and as a society at whole, is an identity crisis. Is that so many of us are so used to looking for external things, external, what's the word I'm looking for? External recognition, external acceptance, instead of loving and accepting ourselves. Equality. Equality doesn't necessarily mean the same. And I'll admit, I am one who I appreciate and I have an affinity for traditional gender roles. And with that said, I also appreciate and respect each individual within their own family, within their own space, to live their life how it blesses and serves them, and how someone else chooses to live their life is not a commentary on me, doesn't take away from me. And when someone loves themselves enough to truly be themselves unapologetically, I think that enhances society. And so I am not for the oppression of women. I am also not for the emasculation of men. For an example, I've seen women who are mothers of little boys, and I've seen where little boys have picked up sticks and pretended they were guns, and they're shooting each other up and they're playing. I don't have a problem with that. They're playing, they're having fun. When I was a little girl, I had a silver cap gun. Does anybody remember those little silver cap guns? They were actually made of real metal. They had a little pearl handle, and you put the little strip of gunpowder into it, and then when you shot it, it made like pop, 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 pop. Playing with that didn't make me grow up to be a violent person, didn't cause me to have, to be antisocial. I think it also matters the love that a child gets. There's a whole lot of things that go into the cultivation. Yeah, cap guns. There's a whole lot of things that go into the cultivation of a human being. It's not just one thing. And yes, the oppression of women, the patriarchal system, the way it's especially set up in Western countries, I mean, the United States, I'm not sure how it is now, but 6 weeks maternity leave, that does not honor the mother. Who saw that came out where it talked about researchers have now confirmed that it takes at least a year for a woman to recover after giving birth. Well, whoever wasted money on that inane research, that money could have been better served to pay women for maternity leave, because all you have to do is talk to any woman and they'll tell you, yeah, it takes a year to recover. And if you have little children you're taking care of, it'll take even 2 to 3 years. And especially if you're a nursing mother, you know, it would be beautiful to see our society that honors family, that honors the family unit. that our society isn't set up so that you have to have two parents bringing in more than a full-time income in order to take care of the household. You know, having one parent working full-time and then the other parent working full-time, and the child goes to child care. That's insane. And it just, everything breaks down. When a woman gives birth, you know, let alone gestating a life for 9 months, everything that you eat goes straight to that baby, and you're praying that your body will also absorb some of those nutrients. It's a shame that women have to give birth and then have to turn their child over to a daycare provider where they're paying $800 to $1,200, if not more, dollars a month, and hoping that their child is taken care of properly. No, mothers should be able to have the option to be at home with their children. That was one thing that I made sure that I did when my children, I have two sons in graduate school now, one in college and one who is in elementary school. And, I've done my best to arrange my life so that I can be able to still be home for the little one, just like I was for his older brothers. Yeah. So I'll get off my soapbox on that. And I just think that it would be wonderful if we can honor family, which starts with honoring the mother and also honoring the masculine as provider and the feminine as nurturer. And as those two work together, like the yin and the yang, they give birth to 10,000 beautiful things, the entire world to be beautiful. But when you're forcing the masculine to be a provider, but also to emasculate him and not allow him to be that provider, and then forcing the woman, and this is nothing to do with women pursuing their dreams. I've pursued my dreams. I'm a mother, a full-time stay-at-home mother, but I'm also a licensed massage therapist. I work for myself. You find a space in there to do what it is that you want to do. But I personally, this is my personal belief, that when you bring a child into this world, you at least owe that child the foundational years of its life to be there for your child, to make sure you instill your values in that child, because otherwise you're sending your child to 8 to 10 hours of daycare and someone else is instilling their values into the child. From 0 to 5 years old is an extremely 0 to 7 is an extremely critical time period for the foundation of a human being's life. And when you think about it, and I know I'm kind of preaching here and I apologize, but this is what I'm feeling led to discuss because it's something very near and dear to my heart. When you think about it, animals in the wild, animals have more freedom than the human beings in, and I can only speak for Western society, for American society. Animal mothers, they get to nurture and take care of their children 24/7, unlike human mothers who, in unfortunate situations, which is vast majority of Americans, they got to take their child to daycare. And that is pretty sad. That is pretty sad. And I hope one day that will change. And at the very least, you know, extended families. Yeah, cleverly conceived. So there we have it. So anyway, interdependence. It takes all of us to make up this beautiful world. And hopefully one day we'll learn how to truly appreciate all of us, even those of us with Rh negative blood. Okay. All right. Tamu is off of her soapbox, maybe. And so who wants a major arcana card pulled for them today? I'm going to go ahead and separate them. So I am separating them. I'm not looking at the screen just yet. If only I had 4 eyeballs. And this is a long video, and I'm not going to apologize. I'm just going to be me, and whatever comes out, we're sharing this together, and I appreciate each and every one of you with all of my heart. Okay. Let's see, Charles, may I ask why 0? Okay. All right. 108, 1008. So you have like 54, you have 27, you have 36. It all boils down to 9. 9 is a beautiful and perfect number that adds into itself. But if you look at any of like Hindu or Buddhist cultures, wherever they have their prayer beads is always in some sort of formulation of 108, some multiplication, multiple, that's it. Some multiple of 9. It's just a very ancient and auspicious number. And for me, that 108 represents that. 9, the numerical value of 9. If you take 9 plus 9 is 18. 18 plus 18 is 36. 36 plus 36 is 72. And what all of those numbers have in common is you reduce it down to its single digit, it's the number 9. And from the perspective that I go on, which is the Kabbalistic, the Hebrew perspective, the gematria, the numerical value 9 is the word emet. Emet is the word for truth in Hebrew. So for me, 108 represents truth. It represents the ultimate truth, the ultimate reality, which I'm still trying to figure out. And yes, even 369. So do some research on the number 9. So there you go. So I have Regina, and who else wanted me to pull? I think it was Pavel. Okay, Pavel, Teresa, Pavel and Teresa. Okay, so I'm going to do Pavel first. His was the first one. And then I'll do Teresa. All right. Let's see. I think I have all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And I've always loved numbers. Even before I even understood that numbers could even mean something. And a number that's always followed me throughout my life is number 8. And then I learned later what like a life path number was, and I found out that my life path number was 8. And even before I knew any of that, number 8 always followed me. Okay, so this one is for Pavel. So Pavel, go ahead and drop into your heart center and let's focus. What message, what energy is surrounding you? What major arcana, what trump, major arcana trump card? Not to be confused with anything else. Okay. Can you see that? Here you go. Lovers. What two halves of your hemisphere, of your brain hemisphere, different choices that you need to make, what is needed to be integrated into your life, what two things have you been keeping separate and considering them to be compartmentalized in two separate entities. So I see the Lovers card, and of course you are free to also bring in your own interpretation and how you'd like to see this, but think of the Lovers card as a call to integrate your energy, to stop keeping things so separate in your life and to truly understand the unity and the oneness in your life. And I'm going to get the symbolism for the number. So I'm going to read from Benebell Wynn's Metaphysical Planner, and I think that's card number 6. So I just want to read number 6 for you. So number 6, nurturer Venus, harmony of heaven and earth and man, and need to return to the God principle, harmony of body, mind, and spirit. This is the number of harmony with the Trinity. Success is not just material gain and social accomplishment. To be truly successful, you must be attuned to your own spirituality and your own truth. 6 is also the number of connection with the divine and with the spirit world around you. Think about the spiritual plane and what messages you need to receive from the quote-unquote beyond. This is the number of psychic ability and intuition. Okay, so again, I look at this, the Lovers is a call for unification of self, of not looking at, I'm going to choose this or I have to choose that, but to bring all of it together. That left hemisphere, that right hemisphere, your masculine, your feminine, bring it together. And when you're able to merge and really come into a complete unity of yourself, even the light and the dark, you'll be able to rise to the pinnacle of your life. And even more so, rise and connect with your holy guardian angel. Rise and connect with your true self and have an even greater connection with the divine, as the divine is revealed to you, Pavel. Okay, so there you go, your Lover's card. That's what comes. All right, so I think next, was it Teresa or was it someone else? I know it was Pavel and Teresa. I don't know why I think there was a third person. Pavel, let's see. Okay, Pavel, Teresa, anyone else? I hope that resonates with you, Pavel. I'm kind of experiencing the movement of time in a weird way right now. I almost feel like I'm going in and out. It's kind of weird. Thank you, Charles. All right, so this is for you, Teresa. This is for Teresa. I'm gonna make sure it gets all mixed up in there. Okay. Okay. Temperance. Temperance. It's one of my favorite cards. Temperance. And on the robe of the angel, you see the Yud Hey Vav Hey, the 4 elements, the angel's foot, messenger's foot. 1 foot is on the ground, stable and solid. 1 foot is in the water, emotions. Sometimes our emotions can get the best of us. Sometimes we can feel like totally grounded and we're not flowing the way that we should. I like how these 2 cups, I'm looking at these 2 cups. You could think that this cup is pouring into that cup, or maybe this cup is pouring into that cup. Are you being too rigid in your thinking? What areas in your life right now you need to have a little more flow, which is all about bringing in balance. Sometimes we think we have to be rigid and stable and grounded and heavy and solid in order to appear normal and acceptable to our family, to our friends, to people we work with. So maybe this messenger is here to remind you to shake it up a little bit, to don't be afraid to stand in the deep water and let that water flow all over and through you, to play with the water, to play with your emotions, to allow yourself to flow, to allow yourself to be more fluid. Being stable and grounded and solid and all of that is not everything. Being emotional and fluid and playing in that water, that's what's for you, Teresa. That's for you, dear. Okay, so that was for you, Teresa. And sorry, I had to put this on pause. The little one came in. There you go. It's okay to, as they say, be a little bit out of control, because there's balance even in that. Fully feeling those emotions, fully allowing yourself to just flow, nurturing yourself. All right, so I've been here for 1 hour and 25 minutes. One last card, anyone? Then I'm going to have to go. Oh, okay. Thank you, Regina. Thank you for being here. All right, before we go, Wow. Before we go, does anyone else want a card? Okay. All right, so I don't see anything else from anyone else. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this to an end. And as usual, I always do the readings at the end because I like to share the Tao and to communicate with everyone. Um, and I wait, when I figure if people want to invest their time and hang out with all of us and be here, then they'll be here at the end when I do pull cards rather than only coming just because they want a card pulled for them. It's all about energy and it's all sharing. You have to give some to get some. And so I think that's a beautiful thing because that reminds us that we are all family, interdependent. Yeah. All right. Well, you guys, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to go ahead and bring this session to a close. And I will be in touch with you, Goddess Naisha. So let's take a nice deep centering breath. Let's take a moment to remember our ancestors and all those who have come before us and all those who have transitioned. I wish you peace and great bliss. Until next time, keep going. This is Tamu and Ngina, Priestess Heart. Much love. Thank you, Charles. Very beautiful. Bye-bye.